Welcome to the Profitpreneur Power Play Podcast, your daily dose of strategies, insights, and action steps to grow your business and build your freedom. It's time to stop playing small and start making power plays.
Hello, and welcome to the Profitpreneur Power Play Podcast. I am your host, Valerie Walton, and co-founder of Profitpreneur, of course, and really excited to have on our guest for today. I could be a little biased about how awesome she is. I don't know, because she is my daughter, but this amazing 25-year-old has been killing it online, and honestly, with anything that she does. She is a paid actor. She is a YouTuber who does faceless video, and my goodness, raised her subscriber list to, what was it, over 20,000 people in just 1 year, and now it's up to I believe over 40,000. So really cool how all of that works. Today, her topic is Your Words Matter. So I am excited to take a look and listen in on what it is that she has to say. Bree, are you here? Let's pull out this amazing life coach.
Hello.
All right. So are you ready to rock and roll?
Yes, I am.
All right. Cool. I'm going to hand you the mic. I'm out of here.
Alrighty. Okay. Like usual, I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. So like she said, the topic for today is Your Words Matter. And this is something that I have been thinking about the past couple of days. And I thought, you know what, maybe I should share these words of wisdom. So to start, it dawned on me that we tend to take words for granted because we trivialize them, right? And we trivialize our words because we use them all the time, right? And as you guys know, with a lot of things, if you do it a lot, say it a lot, it kind of loses its meaning. It loses its essence. It's almost like, if you have a snack that you really, really like and you eat it all the time. No, it's like, for example, when I was a kid, there's like, what was it? Swiss cake rolls. Right? My mom used to love them. I used to eat them and ask her, can I have some? And I've gotten to the point now where as an adult, I don't want to eat them. If I see a Swiss cake roll, I might have to throw hands on sight. It activates my fight or flight. I don't know what it is, but it's lost its essence, right? It's lost its glamour to me. And because of that, well, not Swiss cake rolls, but with words, right? Because after a while they get kind of diluted for us, we underestimate their impact on ourselves and the people around us. And just want to preface, I do have some notes if y'all see me looking around, because I got to make sure y'all get all the tea. Not half the tea, not half my thoughts, all the thoughts. Okay. For example, right, I'm sure that some of you can remember a time where someone complimented you on something, right? Now, to them, it was just a little trivial compliment. Hey, like your hair. That's it. But to you, right, maybe you held on to that. And you're like, wait a minute. So-and-so liked my hair. I might have to wear this hairstyle permanently, right? Or someone compliments your makeup or your clothes. You might, wear that outfit more often, do your makeup that way more often, right? Again, very simple compliments. Or maybe you listened to a speech, right? And the person said something very specific that spoke to you or called to you, or it motivated you or encouraged you to get up and do something, right? Whether it's someone giving you a compliment and you deciding to wear the outfit more, whether it's, you listening to a speech and, that person motivated you to get up, right? Do you notice how just words, just those just those words that those people spoke, it persuaded you into an action, right? Persuaded you to perform an action, right? Words do not just leave our mouths and then just evaporate. Well, I mean, they kind of do, but they don't. Okay. Follow me when I say this. I have said in past calls that I think that the intangible is significantly more powerful than the tangible things, right? Because the tangible, right, what we can see is always a result of first the intangible, right? For example, if you guys see a couple, right, a married couple, you see, she got the rings on, he got his ring on, right? Now, tangibly, yes, you can see, okay, they are together, but that love that they had for each other first started as something intangible. It was feelings and emotions that they had on the inside. They got to know each other better, da da da, and then they decided they took an action, right? They they decided to get married in an outward sense to also show, hey, we are together too. But it started intangibly. And you never know where your words go, where they travel to, right? You could have said something to somebody a few years ago and they are replaying it in their heads months, years, decades later, right? And of course, that also goes for saying about things that are less than favorable, right? Because I'm sure some of us can remember times where someone said something to us and we were like, ow, right? It was like someone pouring alcohol on a wound, right? I know for me, I've definitely had some times where, well, I was younger, so I wasn't mature, but I've definitely had times where, someone said something to me and it prompted me to mature, right? It prompted me to better myself, right? It prompted me to show up more for them and be a better person, a better friend, a better colleague, whatever the case might be, right? So fathom that even the words that we speak specifically to ourselves just as much also set a tone, right? If words and things that we say to other people linger with them, how many things do we say to ourselves that also linger with us, right? It's like I said, I think it was my first call that I did, right? I had said something about how, growing up for me, there was no I can't do it, right? It was always you just haven't done it yet. So it was always speaking in this sort of manifestational way of it will happen eventually, right? And always kind of pushing this mental image and this mental picture of me completing and finishing a task, right? So even still today, for a lot of us, we say I can't do it, or I'm not enough, or it's taking too long, and we start living that out. We start walking that out, and you are training yourself to believe it. And I'm going to keep this light. Like I said, I'm not trying to be on here all day, but scientifically speaking, there actually is a term for this. I think it's called neuroplasticity, where, in a Cliff Notes way, it's basically your brain's lifelong ability to be able to reorganize its function in response to learning or an experience that happens. So your words quite literally are carving grooves into your thought patterns. You are literally training your brain to pick up and be consistent with whatever it is that you're saying, right? So if you're saying I can't, or I don't know, or I don't feel like it, your brain is like, okay, this obviously is what they want us to pick up on because they keep saying it, they keep repeating it. It's your brain's job to recognize patterns, not to be like, I don't think this pattern is beneficial. No, your brain just picks it up. And that's why we have to do the heavy lifting part of being conscious of what are we saying, right? What are we creating and making be a pattern? What are we essentially making become our default, right? So anyway, like I was saying earlier, one thing I had someone say to me, and I remember because it was an older lady that said it, but she was like, Bree, you're just so darling. You're just so darling. And I was just sitting there for a minute like, I've never had anyone say that to me, but I liked how it felt having her say to me. I was like, that's a very unique compliment, which therefore made me feel unique. So then that made me want to continue doing what? Being darling, right? Made me want to continue being me. It made me continue wanting to walk that out if that was what someone else was saying or they recognized in me, right? And that was something I used for a really long time as a way to feel positive about myself, right? And like I said, there's also things that I've had people say in a negative way, things that I use to better myself, but also there's been things that people have said to me in a negative sense that I use as reasons to hold myself back, right? For example, there was this project, this little game thing that I was coding for a while. And I started saying to myself, oh, this is going to take me forever. This is taking too long. I'm never going to get this done. Why did I think I could do this by myself? Right? Stuff like that. And it actually ended up pushing me into not working on the project for over a month, I think 2 months. Now, the month before that, I was putting in a good 6-7 hours, and I wasn't tiring myself out doing it either. I was excited, right? I was taking 6-7 hours, working on the coding, the programming, all of it. And I had worked so much to the point where I had completed a demo, right? I had completed a very rough, but I completed a prototype. And I was able to, show a couple of people and have them check it out too. And I thought, what changed? What happened? Because I went from, and oh, mind you, I meant to say that prototype that I made, I got it done within a couple of weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks. And that was me learning everything from scratch, right? Um, so I just thought, what shifted? What happened from that period of me getting all of that work done in those couple of weeks to a month goes by, and now I'm not doing anything. I haven't even looked at the project, right? And fortunately for me, right, and I encourage some of you guys to do this as well every now and then. But I ended up recording voice messages, and I had sat down like every other day. I think it was every week. I was like, okay, this is what I need to get done. I need to do this, program this, code this, figure this part out, add this in, and I'm gonna get it done. I'm excited. I like how things are coming out. I didn't know I could do this. Right? I was speaking in the sense of continuing, like I said earlier with that, you haven't done it yet, right? I was speaking in the sense of continuing the work, not rejecting the work, right? And it dawned on me that my words changed because my beliefs changed, right? And I want to emphasize something when I say that. There's a difference between believing something and thinking something, right? To just think it, it's like, oh yeah, that would be nice, right? Oh, that'd be nice if this thing happened, or that'd be nice if this occurred. But belief has passion, right? And a lot of the time, belief has action behind it, right? That passion is transmuted into a physical action, performing an action, doing something, right? So yes, of course, when I started the project, I had those thoughts of like, oh, this is a job for like multiple people, like you're trying to do this by yourself, yada yada. But it was just something that I was thinking. It was not something I was believing. It was not something I was putting my passion behind. And I noticed that, one thing that kind of triggered me was, again, Cliff Notes version, right? One thing with my project that I was working on that I ran into a problem with was the save function, right? As you all know, saving is important, right? I bet y'all them Google Docs, you love that save function, don't you, right? So I knew that I had to make sure that that worked. Otherwise, it didn't matter how much of the prototype I made or how much of it was finished, it wasn't functional. And I spent days on it. I spent hours on it, and I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get it to work. And because I was starting to let that doubt seep in and let that doubt, seep through, the thoughts changed. I started giving more power to those thoughts that were not benefiting me. And I was like, see, like I said, now mind y'all, I said earlier in my VMs, I said that I can get it done, right? I said that, it's just me, but I'm excited because with it only being me working on it, it can be done the right way and it can be done at my own pace and all of that. I then was now turning around and saying, see, this is what happens when you think you could do stuff by yourself. You don't know what you're doing, and that's why you can't get it done. The very thing I was using to lift myself up, I had now done a 180 and was using as a reason to put myself down and not get it done. Disappointing. Now, of course, I have gotten back to work on the project, thankfully, but I had to kind of take a moment to realize I was self-sabotaging. And again, it wasn't on purpose. It's not like I was sitting there trying to find reasons. It was just that, I did not realize that very, very subtle switch in my words, right? Something that was just a thought, right? I didn't give it much, prevalence, credit. After a while, I chose, right? I made that decision to give that power over to the thoughts that weren't going to really help me out. And then it eventually materialized. Okay. Now, even if you're not spiritual or whatever, I wanted to also add this in because this also came to my mind. There's a verse that emphasizes the fact that, death and life are in the power of the tongue, right? The words that you speak, the things that you utter, right? Our words can create things. They can nurture things. They can water things. They can grow things. But at the same time, our words can also kill things, right? We can have things wither, right? This is a good example. For me, like I said, I grew up in an environment where I had people whose words were always inspiring me to create, right? They were always nurturing me. They were always empowering me, right? But I've also had people in my life, well, they weren't really, no, actually, I had a couple of family members that were kind of tripping a little bit. They were giving off words that were killing in the sense of like killing hopes, killing dreams, killing ambition. So again, you got to be mindful of what you're saying, but then also what words are you letting in, right? What words are you letting people speak out and speak into your life? And sometimes even what are you letting them speak over you, right? If you know what I mean when I say that, right? What are you letting people speak over you as well, right? And to go back to what I said earlier about, tangible versus intangible, long after time has passed, most of the time, you don't remember what the person looked like. You don't remember what they were wearing when they said what they said to you, right? And sometimes you don't even remember the words that they said. You remember how it made you feel. You remember the actions that ensued from what they said, right? Maybe someone said something to you that hurt your feelings. So what action did you go and do? You may have cried, right? Or you got mad and you vented and told your friend about what they said because how dare they say that to you, right? You will remember that. You remember the aftermath. You remember the product of the words, right? Sorry, you guys. Sorry, guys, I lost my train of thought. So yes, again, what are you speaking out? What is the result of what it is that you're saying, right? The things that people have said to you, what actions followed that? Okay. So start pausing. Whether you are speaking or you're someone speaking to you, start pausing for a second, right? What are these words producing? Right. One thing that I used to do with one of my friends, I used to yap. I used to yap and talk about celebrities and celebrity gossip. Ooh, girl, I can't believe she did. She can't believe she did this. First of all, who cares? Right? Who cares? And second of all, it wasn't really producing anything productive to talk about that stuff. I mean, maybe it was fun in the moment, but now me and my friends have way more productive conversations, right? We talk about, what we're working on and what we want to improve and what our next steps are, what our next goals are. And we align better because of that as well. But I'm getting slightly off track. So just to give you guys like another example, right? Think of a flower, right? Oh, no, you know what? There was actually a study a while back. I think it had to do with rice. This girl had put rice in one jar and then rice in another jar. And one jar was the positive jar, the other one was the negative jar. And so she would spend, I think she did it for like 30 days or something. You guys can probably find it on YouTube because at this point, quite a few people have done the experiment. But she spent every day saying positive affirmations to the positive jar and then negative ones to the negative jar. Now it's just rice. There's nothing else in the jars. But the rice that was in the positive jar started to expand. It started to plump up. I think I might have the rice mixed up with something else. It might be seeds. I don't know why rice was the first thing that came to my mind, but you guys are following my point. And then with the negative jar, she spoke negative things, and the rice started to rot. It started to mold, basically. And she was just like, it was really interesting to see because our words carry weight, right? There's an energy, there is a power, a weight that travels with our words. Like I said, it's something very intangible about our words that we don't really see until after. And I thought, some people are like, oh, I can't believe this works. But that was the biggest thing that stuck out for me was the delay, right? We always think that it's going to be like an immediate reaction, an immediate reveal. And it's not, especially when it comes to words. It's over time, right? You have some people where, maybe over time their self-esteem was broken or their confidence was broken, right? And it was just from a stacking of events that happened to them. It wasn't necessarily just a one-off, right? So anyway, my point being, I want you guys to start viewing and looking at yourself, the people around you, the things around you as a flower, right? A seed that is in a beautiful flower pot, right? And before you speak, or when you listen to other people speak to you, what are these words doing? Are they nurturing the flower, right? Are we pouring some water in there, putting the fertilizer on there, right? Or are we taking the plant and putting it in the shade? Are we killing the plant? Are we neglecting it, not watering it, right? Are we feeding the plant food that it don't need to be fed, right? Are we saying words that we know aren't beneficial, right? What are you doing to your plant? And that plant can be whatever. It can be your goals. It can be you, right? It could be, work, right? It could be you trying to change your mindset about something. What are you putting into the flower? What are you investing into it, right? Because eventually, what do we want? We want the flower to grow so big that we got to take it out and put it in a bigger pot so it can grow some more, right? So keep that in mind, right? I want you guys to spend today. I won't say the whole week because I know y'all got some other calls. I'm sure that you going to have to tune into, but try spending today using your words with intention, right? Because like I said, the difference between your beliefs and your thoughts, just thinking things, is that passion behind it. When you believe something, it influences the actions you take, right? I believe and know that my mom loves me. So how does that affect my actions? I go and I talk to her, I'm like, hey, can we talk about something? And I know she's gonna be like, yeah, sure. Right. I approach my mom in a totally different way than I would if I thought or I believed that she didn't love me, she didn't care about me. Then I'd be like, I'd be more timid, right? I probably wouldn't bother her. I wouldn't talk to her very much. So it's the same thing. Start taking some time out to think, what beliefs do I have? Like, what are my actions? What are the passions that lead me to do the things that I'm doing? And how can I start changing those thoughts, right? What am I putting in that's altering those thoughts and affecting the actions? All right. So I guess that's pretty much my wrap up. But yeah, spend some time reframing, changing the affirmations that you want to speak over yourself, what you're letting people speak over you, right? And even try that. If there's someone in your life right now or something that you're proud of, voice it, right? Me and my brother, my mom was like, what are y'all doing? Me and my brother, we hug every day, right? I'm like, bro, you look good today, like in the locks, right? He's like your locks too, sister. We keep that energy going. Of course, sometimes we're joking, but you don't realize that those words are meaningful, right? You don't realize that those words over time stack and they build. Um, and at the end of the day, I think I said in another call, I said I was wrapping up. I lied. Hold on. I said in another call that I did, right? That when we help ourselves, we are also helping the people around us too. And we don't even realize it. So when you start learning to be more conscious of your words and you start speaking with intention, you now become a pillar for the people around you too, right? You start complimenting them. I know there's tons of things that my mom has said to me, my brother has said to me, my dad has said to me that has changed my perspective and has made me feel more confident, or it's made me, take steps towards things that maybe I wouldn't have, or I was very like apprehensive about. Um, but they poured into me. And so now, because I've been able to build and grow, I can now pour back into them. I can now compliment them. I can now highlight the things in them that I see that maybe they don't. And like I said, vice versa. So spend some time working on the things that you are affirming. Okay. Spend some time reframing your beliefs, reframing your thoughts. There is nothing wrong with getting rid of things or shedding things that do not serve you. People will try to make you feel bad for that, probably because misery loves company. Probably because misery loves company. But there's nothing wrong with you wanting to improve and wanting to elevate. And the people in your life that understand that and that respect that and that genuinely care about you, they will see that and they will admire you for that. They will encourage you to continue doing it because they want to see you thrive. They want to see you do well. They want to see you be a success. So that's about it. I think that's all. Now I'm finished.
Okay, it's a good thing I didn't press that button too soon. No, that was a really good call, Bree. And yes, I mean, it says in Proverbs 18, the power of life and death is in the tongue. And I think, sometimes we hear things like, oh, words don't matter that much, or words don't hurt, but
60 stones will break my bones.
the words are not, yeah. It's like, what? Where did y'all get that from? It's not in alignment. You can't have both. They either matter or they don't, right? And that's something that I have always stuck with, because even for me growing up, my parents always, always, always told me how much they love me, how much they believe in me, how much they know I can do anything that I put my mind to. So I've never been in a position of can't or even failure. I'm trying to think anything that I failed at. Not really, because you have to surround yourself with people that speak life into you, and you need to be one of those people. If
Yeah.
you don't, how do you expect to see life and vibrance and abundance in your own life? Um, in addition to your business, so important. That's so important to do. So yes, having my kids, yes, I told y'all all the time.
Yeah.
I love you. You guys are great. And can mean it,
Mhm.
And I love what you brought up about the difference between thinking about things and actually believing in them, because there are tons of folks out here right now that are like, oh my goodness, I want to build my business. I want to be successful. I want to profit. I want to be a profitpreneur. And then they don't have any action behind those words.
Yeah.
So that means it's not a solid belief yet.
Yeah.
And it's fine to think about it, but where the belief kicks in is where the action comes in. And I
Right.
love that you mentioned like looking at your mind like a flower, because I like to use a similar analogy of your mind is a garden.
Hmm.
So what are you going to put in there? Whether it's a vegetable garden or a flower garden or what have you, you've got to plant the seeds first. And if
Yeah.
somebody were to walk past you, you're in your backyard in your garden and you're planting seeds, somebody could be walking down the street, doing their power walk for the morning, and they looking at you like, what's she over there doing? Playing in dirt? What a waste of time. That's
Yeah.
dumb. Right? And then but they don't know. They don't know what's going on in your yard and your garden. So as you are building and growing your business, or you're building and growing in anything, I'm getting back to working out. My muscles hurt, but I'm here.
Yeah.
So when it comes to things like that, you know what you're doing. So
Hmm.
you've got to speak life into yourself, even when nobody else is speaking it into you, so that you can keep going. Because if you say, "Oh, I overheard what they said. Oh yeah, they speaking. They right. I am just playing in dirt." These are just seeds. They're never gonna grow into anything important.
Hmm.
And then you walk away and you miss out on exactly what was meant for you. You were meant to have the beautiful garden.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd have never got the seeds. But if you let people speak death into something that is so beautiful as you, just you, with or without the business, just you. If you allow people to come in and start taking over your life by getting into your mind and destroying your garden of thoughts and beliefs, you aren't going to get where you want to go. So it's just going to take some pruning. Get rid of them
Yeah.
people. Just you got to do that, but we could talk about that for another day.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love this topic. You guys go back and listen to this again and again and again. Bree, thank you so much. And we're going to close with this. The truth is, your words are powerful, right? They can either attract the right people into your world and the right things, excuse me, or quietly push them away. So, inside of the Profitpreneur membership, inside of this community, we will help you to master the art and the science of communication, doing it effectively, so that your posts, your conversations, and even your emails start working for you instead of against you, because it's authentic to you.
Mhm.
So go ahead and start your 14-day free trial today, because when you make your words matter, your business grows. All right. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you back here, same time, same channel.